Hello, you're listening to Questboard, a podcast where we make up random side quests. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Tiffany. Just so you know, we are not professional writers in any way, shape, or form. At least we don't claim to be. We just really like tabletop RPGs, and we do this for fun.
That's right. Also, I have our Monster of the Week campaign update.
Woo!
Which I don't have any interrogating questions for you because you guys didn't exactly do something outlandish this time.
I don't know. I felt like what I did was pretty outlandish, but
No, that was just creative
thinking.
Yeah, creative. Sure, let's go with that. No, it was like creative ways of just how to defeat the monster.
Yeah. It was really fun though.
I really want to know what you thought about my ideas and how I implement them and all that stuff. So for the people who are listening, quick recap. One of our players can make it, but I designed the campaign so it's like if one person is missing, we could still play and it'll be fine. And so when I was told, oh, this one person's missing who the character is the middle child, I thought, oh, yeah, they were gone for like 3 days and they just didn't know because everyone neglects the middle child. And I thought that was funny.
We all felt so bad about that. We're like, we didn't notice he was missing for 3 days.
Also, yeah, we have to explain that to the actual player because he has no idea.
Yeah.
But I was like, initially I was going to have all of them just go to the library. And then because some people would have gone missing. But then because a player couldn't go, I was like, oh, I'll just use a player character as hostage. I wasn't going to kill him. It was just going to be the bait of getting them into a library, the public library, because I had it where I turned the public library into the endless IKEA, that SCP. But then I also had it where the threat was the librarian in a very twisted, grotesque version of her attack the players if they ever broke one of the library rules. And so one of the things that I decided to do, because I thought it would be a fun just mechanic where I bring it into real life, I made everything quiet. I turned off the music, all that stuff. Once I showed the thread, I was like, okay. And I pulled out my phone and I'm like, this is a decibel reader. If it gets above 60 decibels, which is like a normal conversation decibel, then you will be injured from the librarian because you are making too much noise. If anyone made too much noise, they would get hurt.
It was terrifying.
And so then, God, you guys even I was like, okay, you guys go in. And they're like, I think your husband's like, okay, I'll go over here and then I'll check over here. I'm like, oh, are you guys splitting the party?
We instantly split the party.
It turned out I'm like, oh, okay, so they're just gonna be wandering aimlessly.
We didn't know. We didn't realize it was a magical library that would instantly get us lost and confused.
I know it was but it very much. I don't know if it diverted the pacing of it because now I'm like, okay, now it's your turn. You get just a roughly small amount of things you could do, and then I guess switch to the next person.
You jumped back and forth between us quick enough that it really didn't disrupt the pacing at all.
Okay. And so it was really funny because we were all just whispering while playing.
Yeah, none of us wanted to talk loud enough to trigger the decibel meter. I was going to say decimal beater.
The Dewey decibel beater.
Yeah. Is that a new serial killer?
It's a librarian serial killer. Kills people based off of certain categories. If you're already in the category that he already killed, then you're safe.
Yeah.
He has to go one at each category.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways. So, but the thing was too, I was quiet because I created the rule that you guys didn't really know, which is if I made a noise, that means that the librarian made a noise.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I designed the weakness, which is everyone must follow the rules. Everyone. So if the librarian ever broke a rule, then the librarian will have to punish herself, and that's how you kill her.
Right. And so eventually we saw flyers that said, everyone must follow the rules. And we're like, oh, that applies to her too.
Oh, it's so funny. The friend that's in our group, she pointed out, because right before we started the session, I blew out the candle in my living room. And she's like, "Is that what you blew out the candle? Because one of the rules was no flame." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I was thorough about like I do not break any of these rules that I've
Mhm.
said.
Yeah, we also had a bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos, and he told us later if any of us had grabbed any food to eat, because one of the rules is no food, then he would have had her come down on us.
Yes.
But we were all too concentrated on the scenario to eat.
Well, to be fair, it would have been a double hitter because you would have crunched, made a loud noise, and then
They
it would have
aren't
been eating.
that loud. Okay,
Well, it
now
depends on the decibel meter.
I want to try eating one of those with a decibel. Am I gonna keep saying decibel reader?
We'll do that afterwards.
Okay, well.
I still have it on my phone.
Yeah, but I didn't bring the chips again.
Okay, if we remember next time.
Yeah,
I don't have chips in my
I'll
house.
see if I can find a decimal reader. Decibel. I'm gonna stop saying
Okay.
that.
The loud
But-
meter.
Yeah, that was actually terrifying once again because we were all too afraid to talk too loud because our characters were gonna, get hurt and stuff. Luckily, my character had a little bit of armor, but like it can only take so many hits.
Yeah, I decided that because I didn't want to make something that's super like, because if I make something stronger just to counter your armor,
Right.
the other people who don't have armor, they just get screwed over. So then I was like, okay, every session, the armor has to be only a certain amount because then it starts wearing out.
You haven't told them yet what the librarian's choice of weapon is.
Oh God! So I did a wooden ruler with that long like metal side.
Yeah. Was it a ruler or a yardstick?
Well, I made her like elongated and all that stuff, so it could have been both.
Probably
They're both.
yardstick then.
Well, yardsticks don't generally have the metal edge, though.
I've seen one.
Have you?
Yes.
I've never seen one.
It was terrifying.
But
Well, I mean, now that I think about it, it's
using that
terrifying.
as an
Back then,
edge.
it's a ruler with a hard metal edge, so the ruler itself doesn't wear out.
yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, the group basically constantly tried to get her to damage a book.
Yeah.
That was also one of the rules. Obviously, is do not damage any book.
Yes.
And so everyone tried. Your husband tried to make armor.
That was great. Yeah, he took his shirt off. Did he say he ripped it up?
Yeah, he ripped
Yeah, he
his
ripped
up
up
his
his
shirt
shirt.
so that he could
could-
tie it books to himself.
Yeah, he tied various
And then we had a
books as
small
armor.
argument. Let me know down in the comments what you think this is,
Whose side are you on?
because I made a fair point, which is it's morally gray,
Mhm.
sort of, with like the morally part. It's gray about what side it is on. If he ties a book to his left forearm on the back,
Mhm.
and someone swings at him, and he puts up like a shield
Mhm.
to block it, and the weapon damages the book, did the person who blocked damage the book, or did the person with the weapon damage the book?
Right. Because the person with the weapon is just swinging with intent to harm the other person,
Yes.
whereas the person with the book is
Intentionally
actively putting the book in danger.
Yes, I would argue the person who blocked with the book damaged the book then, because they intentionally put the book in harm's way.
Right. And I completely understand that.
And your husband was also agreeing on it, so then we
Yeah.
kind of scrapped that.
We're like, okay, that's not going to work.
Which was fine because that wasn't even what killed the librarian. It was your idea about
Yeah.
making a book scarecrow.
Yes. So my character wears coveralls as her everyday attire, but of course she wears shorts underneath, because who wouldn't? Those things actually get a little chafy. I speak out of having had some in the past. Don't know where they went. I'm actually kind of sad about that. They're really comfy.
Mm.
But so she took off her coveralls and stuffed them full of books to the point where it looked like somebody was standing up trying to reach for the bookshelf, and she borrowed some other kid's hat to hide the fact that there wasn't really a head, and then used some string that she always keeps on her to yoink a book off the shelf to get the librarian's attention.
Oh, by the way,
Hmm?
your husband had a really interesting idea about the noise, because there was few damages where when you guys rolled dice, it made a loud noise,
Mhm.
because half of you had heavy dice,
Right.
or half the dice were heavy.
I know. I had metal dice.
But he his first roll, he stands up and goes into the other room and rolls.
Yeah, and it worked.
It worked.
He didn't make too much noise.
But then he started rolling on the floor, on
Yeah.
my carpet floor.
Yes.
And he's like, "Oh, it looked like you were very upset about that." I'm like, "I wasn't upset about that. That was like kind of clever." I will be honest, when I was making up with this scenario,
Mhm.
I thought your husband would get up and try to tickle me to make me be loud. I internally thought he might attempt that.
I think at that point he hadn't yet realized that you couldn't be loud either.
I don't know if you have ever realized that. I thought I made that clear, but
You brought it up afterwards, and I feel like I remember him being like, "Oh,
maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know. I made it clear that I was also keeping it. You guys
Yeah.
were initially like joking around and like laughing that I'm like whispering while you guys are I'm not enacting the rule for you guys, but I was still following my own rules.
Initially, I thought it was just so you wouldn't trip the meter, so you could see whenever we tripped the meter."
Okay. I guess I didn't fully convey that,
Yeah,
but
but that's all right. No, we realized it later on.
I initially thought, "Oh, I could see your husband doing that."
Oh, I could see him doing that too.
And I don't know what I would have done. But thankfully, he didn't do that.
I mean, it would have been fine if it was me because I can turn off my ticklishness.
I cannot do that.
Mm.
That's a special skill.
Hannah's just not ticklish. I don't know if we've mentioned this. Hannah's the other player.
I have a
been-
tendency just to not include names.
I know,
on our
but she's
podcast.
been on the show, so
Yeah. Anyway, so I did that session just to like, because I had the idea, like, I've come up with multiple ideas of things that I could bring out of game to like enhance the experience or anything like that in session. So I just wanted to do that for like that session.
mm-hmm.
So do you think was a good session or like
Oh, heck
better
yes.
than the previous ones?
100%. That was a good session.
Okay.
I
don't
wouldn't say.
expect that to be the entire time.
Well, now we expect it because you've already done two like things that really got my anxiety up, which was playing the sitar music and now this decibel. Hey, I said it right. Decibel meter. And
No guarantee that
Yeah.
it's gonna be every time.
well, maybe not every time. Like there was the dragging of the creature in the truck.
I'm saying
We made that unique enough by shooting each other.
Well, I'm saying don't expect me to come up with real outside things to do for our in-game
Right.
thing for every session.
No, well,
Hopefully, you don't expect that.
I might if you're gonna keep doing it.
I'm like I said, no guarantee. But
That's
anyways,
already good enough with the creepy music you play.
that's it for our recap. That was a long beginning banter. We should actually make a quest now. Anyways, you got dice
Oh, I got them.
on our regular quest board stuff?
Yeah. We've already done 58. We've done all the 50s.
We have. This is speaking of Hannah. This is the episode Hannah was part of.
Oh, yay.
Big money, big award money. This is beautiful Noel.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to go up or down?
Let's go up.
Jumping all the way to 73.
Oh, we've done all the 60s as well?
Yep. It looks
Nice.
like it. If I'm wrong, then oh well. We did a music one recently.
Oh, nice.
Music tutor. My son Stevie wants to be a bard, but the kid has absolutely no talent. What a loving parent. I want to enjoy my time at home without the shrieking of his horrible electric lute destroying the peace. What
Oh
a
my
lovely
gosh.
parent. I'll pay you 10 gold to give him some lessons, and if after a couple of his magic becomes less painful, I'll give you 100 gold bonus.
His music becomes less painful.
Well, music is magic if he's a bard. That's my save.
Oh, no.
Contact John Harris at 75 Lane Avenue.
Okay. So we have the name of the person
And the
and the kid.
father.
Yeah. Sorry, I meant the person making the contract, John Harris, and the
Oh,
kid,
okay.
I'm guessing Stevie Harris.
We both just switched in
We
our heads.
swapped them.
Yeah.
Well, you swapped them.
What is... This is a horrible parent.
Well, okay, admittedly, when they're
Also, I
first
don't
starting
know-
out and if they don't have like bass talent right away, yeah, they all sound awful. This parent is just putting it in print. So,
Yes, we all know. Never say it out loud, though.
right. You got to encourage them to get better or else they never will. I mean, that's why my parents encouraged me to not play the drums. I had a little plastic drum set when I was little and they got so sick of that thing that eventually they're like, maybe you should try a different instrument.
That's how parents kill dreams. You could have been an amazing drummer right now.
Yeah. Instead, I played the saxophone, which I greatly enjoyed.
Even today?
Well, I mean, I don't play it anymore. Yeah, I understand that. And I do still randomly drum on things.
You're a bored drummer.
Should have been a drummer.
Should have been a drummer. Anyways, this is kind of a hard quest.
So, either the party has a bard, and this bard, like, teaches the kids stuff. That's one scenario that we can't really plan for. You can just make them roll. I don't know what a teaching role would be. Or if your party doesn't have a bard, maybe they can go look for one and get a cut for finding the bard.
I had the thought it's kind of used plenty of times before, but usually musicians or anything like that want to experience things in order to write music and things like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So what if it's just the kid needs to join the party on some adventures?
That's not what the contract is for, though, or the quest. The quest is specifically for a music tutor.
Yeah, you okay, you have a point.
Because I'm pretty sure John doesn't necessarily want to send little Stevie out on dangerous adventures where he could potentially get hurt. He would like for him to stay home and safe and make beautiful music. Emphasis on beautiful music.
I think he wants to make him just music in general.
Yes, instead of
anything that would classify as
shrieking.
music.
Shrieking is the word he used.
Yes.
Electric lute is fun. I'd actually like to hear what that sounds like. Not just a electric guitar, but an electric actual lute.
There is a thing called electric violins.
Yes, those are cool.
So I assume it sounds very similar to that, where it's the transition between a regular violin to electric violin is probably the same as an electric lute to electric lute.
Lutes are played like guitars, though, so I would think it sounds more like an electric guitar.
But they're both string instruments, and you could still pluck an electric violin.
This is true. But who's to say if they have, like, reverb and stuff? Like, all the different...
Well, just like how acoustic guitar and electric guitar, it's
you can
different
also
feels.
Plug in an acoustic guitar and have it be amplified through an amplifier.
Yes. Why are we having this discussion? I don't know.
Because this seemingly fantasy quest has an electric lute.
You know what? Fair point.
Yeah.
We'll worry about the details later.
But I just thought of a detail.
Oh, God. What?
It's a magic lute with electric themes. Like, it's an electric element lute. So if he actually does learn to play it properly, it'll give him electric-based spells.
Sure.
If you don't want to actually go the route of an electric-sounding lute. Maybe it even sounds like that without
just
actually being plugged
encourages the
in.
party to steal a lute from a kid now.
Oh, man. It's like taking candy from a baby.
I wouldn't know because I thought of that. I'm also a horrible person.
Okay.
This one's hard because it's like, we don't have much wiggle room.
So if your party is evil, they can see this quest and then just plan a heist on stealing the electric lute for their bard.
Or they won't care. 90% of the time, they won't care.
Yes. If your party has a bard, then maybe while your party's in town and stuff, that bard can...
Downtime,
yeah. They can go teach this kid how to play, and they can have specific roles and stuff to try and teach Stevie how to play music.
Hang on. I thought of a funny twist.
How high is the difficulty on that?
I have a funny twist.
What's the twist?
They're tieflings.
Okay.
Stevie wants to go by the musician name, the Devil. He's going to go down to Georgia.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, we use that joke way too much.
Hey, it's a good song. It's worthy of all the jokes.
What happens if, like, they meet Stevie and he's like, I keep hearing stories about people, like, betting their souls on just their craft and them playing their music. I want to do that.
It's like, I want to play like that song. And you're like, oh, you got a ways to go, kid.
Well, just, like, complete homage of just, he's the devil. He's willing to...
No, his stage name
deals.
could be the Georgia Devil.
Isn't that a completely different thing?
Nah, it's like the Jersey Devil. The cryptid.
Yeah.
No, it'd be the Georgia Devil. It's not a completely different thing. The devil went down to Georgia, it became the Devil Georgia Devil. The Devil of Georgia.
Is this a new tongue twister we have?
I don't want it to be, because I don't want to have to think about it.
You know what? People do it at home. We're not doing it. Well, what are the twists we have?
Well, I mean, the fact that the loot could be stolen and be something cool. But, I mean, if the party then tries to find if your party doesn't have a bard, and they try to find a bard to help the kid for maybe a cut of the money. Or like if they talk to John, be like, well, if you can find me a bard, I'll give you a cut. You know, something like that. Then they have to go find a bard.
Well, then
willing to
John
teach.
would just say, oh, you can't teach him music? Then why are you here? Go away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. But maybe like if the party can offer to help find a bard for like maybe a finder's fee or something like that.
That might be up to the players to negotiate for that.
Right.
With the persuasion roll, I
That's
think.
true.
Okay, I thought possibly something.
What you got?
What if one of the reasons why the son is so bad at playing music, maybe it's like a deep psychological thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens if the players have to go into like his subconscious or mind just to like relive like memories or anything like that, find out why? This is heavily inspired from that one quest from Fallout 4 where you go into someone's memory, but that was through a memory chip and all that stuff.
That's interesting. Well, I mean, that's an interesting idea. It makes me think of that.
I think it was interesting in my head, and then when I was explaining it out loud, I realized how stupid it is.
Well, it also makes me think of that quest where the party goes into that book.
Oh, Fatal Pages.
Fatal Pages, yes. Yes, that one.
Our Questober one.
Yeah. So there's that concept. They can go inside of his mind and figure out what's blocking him from learning music.
Okay, but...
Or I've got another one.
It's probably better.
A family curse. Maybe,
Never mind about it being better. Wow.
Maybe, they actually come from a long line of bards, and
then why
somewhere
couldn't
in the past, one of their family members was cursed with never being able to make music again of any kind. Singing, playing, any instrument whatsoever. It's always bad. And it's been a few generations since then, so there hasn't been any bards in the family. Until this kid is like, no, I'm called to make music. I must. And his dad's like, can you guys please help do something about this? Like maybe try to teach him or get rid of the curse.
Okay, another possible idea. What if Stevie does want to get better and he just wants to torment his dad?
That's just mean.
What happens if they have a strained relationship?
Okay.
And he's just doing this to just get back at him, either because like they don't say a mom. What happens if he drove the mom away or something like that and the kid blames him, but he's stuck with custody with,
or mom died of some illness and the kid blames him too.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah.
And he's just acting out and the party then has to play family therapist.
So what you're saying is the kid actually can play music and he's playing bad on purpose?
Yes. Like eventually he actually got good enough to like make actual things, but now he's purposely, that's why it sounds like
so
screeching.
Whenever his dad's nearby, it's just all screeching.
When he's at work, he actually
it's
could play something.
Fantastic power ballads and such.
Yeah, he could play Through Fire and Flames.
I like that a lot. Just bad out of spite. So then he can like work out, like cut a deal with the tutor and be like, all right. I'll pretend like I'm getting better, but I get a cut of the money.
No, I think this is the tutor, like let's say you have a bard.
Yeah.
The tutor would basically like roll insight and it's like, oh, he's playing purposely.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's like this is
intentional. We don't have anything to add to this though, because it's just playing like, yeah, the bard rolls insight. If they pass, they notice that the kid's not improving, he's doing it on purpose, and then they play family therapy.
It could turn into family therapy, or it could turn into something along the lines of him being like, oh, I'm just trying to annoy my dad because I know he killed my mom. And then it can turn into investigating the dad to see if he actually did kill her and stuff like that, and figuring out the secrets of the family. So that could turn into a whole
Oh, what happens if it turns
investigation thing?
It turns into family therapy where it's like dad made mom go away.
Yeah.
And then while they're trying to like resolve it, and they find out that the mom disappeared mysteriously, and then they find out that he killed it. It's like the step upon step kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just to cushion out this quest.
Or turn it into something else entirely if your party isn't necessarily interested in the whole tutoring thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. This could be a thing where obviously it says Bard. Yes.
Yes.
But this could be a Call of Cthulhu where the father like sacrificed the mom
Oh, shoot.
for the dark ones and all that stuff.
Bard is a common term. It's not necessarily.
And he's a part of a cult in which hasn't revealed it. The son's too young, doesn't know, and that kind of stuff. Okay, this approach we're doing could fit in multiple genres.
It could, because like Bard isn't just for a D&D class. It's a common word that is used to represent someone who plays music for a living. Any musician could also be called a bard.
We use musicians, though.
Right, because it's an old school term.
Technicality, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there anything else we want to add? Or because we have to keep it vague depending on what the setting is?
Honestly, the only thing I'd want to add is I feel like they have a pet dog who howls whenever he plays badly. I don't know. It adds absolutely nothing to the storyline. It would just be a funny comment.
You're just, okay, depressing spoiler. You're just making me think of the homunculus from Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay, wow. That went real dark real fast.
But you're like, oh, there's a dog. And it's just like, oh, the mom disappeared. Connect.
Oh, yeah. Would you look at that?
Because the first, spoilers, the first homunculus was the wife.
Yeah, no. I wasn't going that kind of dark. Jeez.
No, I'm saying that's what I
was
thought
saying
of.
A telling thing for like the kids faking it is the dog only howls when the kid plays intentionally bad, but then later they'll hear the kid playing music, but the dog's not howling because he's playing good.
Or I think you could tell the difference between really bad music and quite good.
Not everyone.
Oh, I think you can tell where it's really, really bad, where it's considered screeching compared to someone who's amateurish.
Yes, but would you be able to hear from far away, say, like if you're walking past the house, would you be able to hear the lute or the dog first? I just think it'd be fun to add the dog in howling. If you don't want to add the dog in, they don't have to have the dog.
No, that's fine. I think that would just be funnier if they have a dog so that he intentionally adds that so he knows the dog will howl. And just, it's all about annoying the dad.
Yes.
That's just additional annoyance for the dad.
He knows exactly which note to hit to make the dog howl. Because I actually remember when I would practice with my saxophone, there was one note. If I hit it,
I know what
my dog would howl.
Yes. My family's dog did as well. My brother played saxophone. But this is a lute, which is much different because my dog never did that for violin.
I'm actually curious if it was the same note because I wonder if there's a note that just makes dogs howl.
I have no idea. But my dog never did that with violin.
Interesting.
So with a lute, I really don't think so.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that.
Yeah,
but this is magical.
Violin, you're comparing lutes and violins. Lute is more like a guitar than a violin.
Yes, and it's not even close to a saxophone.
Very true.
So why are we... This is a weird debatey episode. I don't know what is going on today, but this is a debate club now. Or debate podcast.
Welcome to Debate Board.
Actually, there's a podcast I sometimes listen to called Debate Me Cowards.
That is a fantastic name.
Where
I absolutely love it.
They just pick sides on like stupid controversial ones. Like there's a guy who pepperoni does not belong on pizza. Like does not like pepperoni on pizza.
I fully agree with that.
You know, I'm not gonna start this. I'm not gonna.
I just don't like pepperoni though. So
no, they're talking about like on itself good, but on pizza it's bad.
See, I don't like pepperoni at all. So
yeah, he's saying once you put it on the pizza, it makes it worse.
Gotcha. That's like the pineapple debate.
Yeah, which
I'd say the pepperoni debate is a little more controversial than the pineapple debate.
Pepperoni is universally loved.
I'm aware.
Okay, we'll end it there. If you want to flame the hate on Tiffany about her pepperoni choice or feelings towards pepperoni.
I also don't like the pineapple on the pizza, by the way. So
you can message us down in the comments of this YouTube channel or on X at QuestBoardPod or on Blue Sky at QuestBoard. If you want to tell us what your party did in this campaign or in this quest that you put in this campaign that you're running.
If you do.
Let us know how they solved it, how they played family therapy, how they botched the family therapy. And if you have a quest posting of your own that would you want us to make a quest out of, something hopefully more freeing than the music tutor, but you know, it's your own creativity. We'll try to make it. Let us know on any of those platforms. I think with that, I wish you all a good night.
And happy questing.